Joe Hopkins here, and I'm asking the question, which Les Paul is best Les Paul? Is this best Les Paul? Is this best Les Paul? How about these? Are they best Les Paul? Which Les Paul is best Les Paul? Everybody makes a Les Paul, but is it a Les Paul if it's not a Gibson or an Epiphone? Epiphone, they got the name. It doesn't say Les Paul. Should you call it a single cut guitar? It is, but so's a Telecaster. Yeah. And the SG is a double cut, but when it first came out, it was a Les Paul. So which Les Paul is best Les Paul? Everybody makes a Les Paul. There are tons of Les Pauls. I can tell you some things you should look at on a Les Paul. This is my Firefly Les Paul. This was like $200, right? But the nice thing about a Les Paul, right? It's got that hardtail on it. The bridge means that no tremolo, so better tuning stability than a guitar with a tremolo. I like the hardtail pieces. I like the ones that go through the guitar too. And some people make those with a Les Paul. You know, I have a Les Paul with a Floyd Rose in it, right? So you don't always get like the hardtail, but the hardtail's pretty cool. And you got your little saddle here. The more traditional types have the adjustments for intonation here on the side where the strings go up, so that you have to tune it all the way down and move the string to adjust it and then tune it back up to see if it's right. I kind of like, you know, it's kind of a pain. It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to do intonation. But, you know, how many times you really going to do that, right? But Les Paul, yeah, dual humbuckers, but not always. Sometimes P90s. And I've seen them with single coils, 2 single coils. I've seen that on a Les Paul. Not a Gibson Les Paul. Maybe Gibson did that. I don't know. But if it's not a Gibson, once again, is it a Les Paul? Or are all these, should we start calling it more Paul? Because there's more of them. There's so many. But which Les Paul is best Les Paul? $200 Les Paul? If you go with a Gibson, it's like, you know, starts at like $1,200. Epiphones start like $200, $180, $200. You can get an Epiphone. I like Epiphone. I've played their Les Paul. I've played a Gibson Les Paul. I've played a lot of Gibson Les Pauls, and they're good guitars. I don't know if I would buy a Gibson. Which Les Paul is best Les Paul? And everybody sells a Les Paul. This is my favorite Les Paul that I own and that I've ever played, really, and that's my Wolf. It's a really good one. I really like it. It's pretty, has a lot of bling, but more importantly, it sounds good. The tuning stability is great. And, you know, it was like, how much was it? $500, something like that. It's a good Les Paul, right? Half the price of a Gibson Les Paul, but I think it's probably better than a Gibson Les Paul, but that's my opinion. Which Les Paul should you get? I know you wanted my opinion. You came here for my opinion, so Wolf, my Wolf Les Paul, my Wolf WLP they call it, that's my favorite Les Paul, right? Right behind it, I like my Harley Benton with the Floyd Rose in it. It's a good Les Paul. I like it. But which Les Paul is best Les Paul? And I'd say the best Les Paul is the one that you like, right? Can you try all of them to see which one you like the best? Well, no, you can't, because you go to a music store and how many Les Pauls do they have? Really, they have Gibson, Epiphone, they might have ESP, maybe another brand or two, right? But you can't try them all. So you come to these channels to see if you're going to order a guitar from one of these websites. Which Les Paul should you get? Or which guitar in general should you get? But as far as Les Pauls, I have 2 right here that I like a lot. That's Firefly, if you want El Cheapo, Wolf, or AIO if you want something really nice, right? They're really good Les Pauls. Both of them are nice. I like the Firefly. The Firefly took a little bit of setting up, right? The Wolf came perfect out of the box. There's a difference. Harley Benton makes a good Les Paul. Hard Luck Kings. I'm wearing their shirt. Hard Luck Kings. They make a really good Les Paul. Costs about the same as the Wolf. You know, you're looking at $450 to $500 range for Wolf, AIO, Hard Luck Kings. They all make pretty good Les Pauls. You're going to spend a lot less on a Harley Benton or a Firefly. And, you know, which Les Paul should you get? Well, that's up to you, man. There are a whole bunch of Les Pauls out there. Everybody makes Les Pauls. It seems everybody makes Strats, but they don't. A lot of places don't make the Strat style guitars. I've seen more places that make Tellys than Strats. But everybody has a Les Paul. So if you go around looking for a Les Paul, you got all kinds of choices. All kinds of choices. Some of them have set necks. Some of them have the bolt-on necks. I've seen the bolt-ons. Epiphone, their $200 Les Paul has a bolt-on neck, but it's a good guitar. My dad has one. I've played it a good bit. I like it. It's a good Les Paul. So which Les Paul is best Les Paul? Depends on you. What do you want to buy? What do you want to get? I told you my favorites. Those are my favorite Les Pauls, right? Should I put the links down here? I'll put some links to some of the places where you can buy some cool Les Pauls. And go out there, take a look at a Les Paul, and you decide which Les Paul is best Les Paul. And then tell me which Les Paul is best Les Paul. Yeah, why does everybody sell a Les Paul? Because I guess people like them and nobody's come up with something newer, I guess. I don't know. Lack of creativity. Maybe people are sheep and they just want what already has been. They want a Les Paul because it's a Les Paul. Hey, could be that. If you want a brand name, just for the name, get it. By all means. If you want something cheap just to say, look, I got a Les Paul, get that Les Paul. But as far as which Les Paul is best Les Paul, I don't know. There was only one Les Paul, and he was a good guitar player. You should check out some of his videos. Les Paul, he did, you know, really good guitar player, really good in his day, and he invented the guitar that bore his name, the Les Paul. Yeah, he was Les Paul, not more Paul, right? Not equal to Paul, Les Paul. But there was no less of him or more of him than was there. All right, I'm done being a silly retard. You go out there, get a guitar, and subscribe to my channel. This is the shameless pitch. Subscribe, or I'll come to your house and beat you with a Les Paul. That's right. Or with more Paul? I don't know. I'll beat you with something. Beat you with a big stick. Peace out, baby.